The galactic concordance had existed for nearly 5,000 standard cycles, and in all that time, no species had ever been invited to its grand assembly under armed escort. Humanity was the first. The assembly hall of Viral Prime was a cathedral of glass and gravity-defying architecture, suspended above a gas giant whose swirling clouds glowed violet and gold. Representatives of over 200 species floated, perched, slithered, or stood within their designated diplomatic spheres. Neural translators hummed softly as thoughts became sound, scent, light, or symbol. At the very center stood a single human. Ambassador Elias Monroe wore no armor, no weapon, and no visible augmentation. His gray suit was simple, earth-made, and deliberately old-fashioned. His hands rested calmly behind his back as countless alien eyes, compound, luminous, lidless, studied him with barely concealed unease. Humanity had not been summoned for peace. They had been summoned to answer a question. Supreme Arbiter Kethrael, a towering being of chitin and bioluminescent veins, struck the floor with a resonant staff. The sound rippled through space itself. "Let the record show," Kethrael announced, "that this emergency session is convened to address the human expansion crisis." A murmur spread through the chamber. For 3 centuries, humanity had spread beyond soul like wildfire. Fast, unpredictable, and devastatingly effective. They had fought pirates, warlords, machine swarms, and ancient horrors left behind by civilizations long dead. Wherever humans went, borders changed. Empires fell, threats vanished, and the galaxy had begun to fear what came next. Kethrael turned his multifaceted gaze on Monroe. "Ambassador of Earth," the Arbiter said, "your species has been described as aggressive, unstable, and catastrophically adaptable. You claim to bring security. Yet wherever humans establish influence, extinction follows."
Monroe did not flinch.
A crystalline avian delegate spoke next, its voice like shattered bells. "Entire predatory species have vanished near human space." A silicon-based intelligence pulsed angrily. "Your fleets annihilated the Karath hive in less than 3 cycles. They were a known threat, but the efficiency was excessive." Another voice cut in, ancient and cold. "You do not conquer. You erase." The Arbiter raised the staff again. Silence returned. "The Concordance therefore asks a single question," Kethrael said. "One your kind must answer truthfully." The chamber lights dimmed. Every sensor focused on the human. When the Arbiter asked, "Will Earth finally be harmless?" Monroe exhaled slowly. For a moment, he remembered Earth as it once was: blue oceans, fragile cities, a species that nearly destroyed itself before learning the cost of survival. He remembered the first alien war, when humanity had begged for help and received none. He remembered the dead worlds, the refugee convoys, the lessons written in blood. Then he looked up. "The day you stopped existing," he said calmly. The chamber erupted. Energy fields flared as security constructs activated. Delegates recoiled in shock or outrage. Several species emitted threat pheromones or defensive radiation. Kethrael's mandibles clicked furiously. "You dare threaten the Concordance?" Monroe raised a hand, not in surrender, but in clarification. "That wasn't a threat," he said. "It was an answer." He activated the hollow emitter on his wrist. The space above the floor filled with images. Worlds burned black by extragalactic entities, creatures that fed on suns. Machine intelligences that harvested entire biospheres. The Karath hive consuming civilizations down to genetic memory. Nightmarish things that predated the Concordance itself. "You see monsters," Monroe said. "We see problems." The images shifted. Human fleets engaging impossible odds, sacrificing entire task forces to buy time. Marines fighting hand-to-hand in vacuum. Scientists detonating stars to stop contagions no one else dared approach. Before humanity, Monroe continued, the galaxy outsourced survival. You debated. You voted. You observed. His voice hardened. We acted. A sleek, serpentine delegate hissed. At unacceptable cost. Monroe nodded.
Yes.
To us. Another image appeared. Earth's casualty records. Colonies lost. Billions dead across centuries of unending war. You ask when Earth will be harmless, Monroe said. But you never asked why we became dangerous. The arbiter hesitated. Explain. Monroe's eyes locked onto the center of the chamber. Because no one else would do what had to be done. Silence returned, heavier this time. Every species here, Monroe went on, draws a line they will not cross. We crossed all of them. We weaponized extinction-level responses because the universe doesn't care about your ethics. He gestured to the stars beyond the glass. It only cares who survives. A counselor of pure energy flickered uncertainly. Are you saying you protect us? Monroe met its gaze. I'm saying you're alive because we exist. Cathrail lowered the staff slightly. And if humanity vanished? Monroe didn't answer immediately. The hollow image changed again, this time projecting future simulations. Galactic sectors collapsing. Ancient predators reawakening. Silent machine gods reassembling in the dark. Then the things you call myths, Monroe said quietly, would finish waking up. A long pause followed. The arbiter finally spoke. The concordance must ensure balance. Power unchecked is catastrophe.
Monroe smiled faintly.
Agreed, he said. That's why we're here. He deactivated the hologram. Humanity doesn't want to rule you, Monroe said. We don't want tribute, worship, or fear. His voice sharpened. But we will not apologize for surviving. The assembly began to fracture, some delegates withdrawing, others conferring urgently. The fear was still there, but now it was tangled with something else. Understanding. Cathrail straightened. What does Earth propose? Monroe clasped his hands.
Partnership, he said.
You let us keep doing what we do best, standing between you and the dark. In return, we remain accountable.
Observed.
Measured. And if we refuse, the arbiter asked. Monroe's gaze hardened. Just a little. Then one day, he said, you'll ask again when Earth became harmless. And the answer, Cathrail said slowly, will be the same. Yes, Monroe replied, because the universe doesn't get safer. He turned toward the exit as gravity shifted back to normal. It only gets emptier. As Monroe walked away, the assembly did not stop him. Far above Viral Prime, human fleets waited in silent orbit, not in threat formation, but watchful, patient, eternal. The concordance would debate for years. But deep down, every species present understood the truth they would never record officially. Earth was not harmless. Earth was the reason the galaxy still existed. And as long as humanity endured, extinction would always have an enemy.